My father once told me, "You're not leadership material. You're a worker, not a thinker." He gave my brother the family business and told me to be grateful for a janitor role. I left without a word. Years later, at my brother's retirement party, everyone turned to me when I took the mic and said, I was 22 when my dad sat me down in his office and told me straight to my face that I wasn't leadership material. That day is burned into my memory. It was right after I graduated college. I came home thinking he'd finally offer me something real at the family company. I had a business degree, decent GPA, and 4 summers of experience working every corner of the warehouse. I thought I'd earned a shot. Instead, I walked into his office, and he shut the door behind me like it was something serious. He didn't waste time. He said, "Look, Kyle. I want you to be realistic about where you fit." I nodded, thinking he was about to give me my first real position. Then he dropped it. "You're a hands-on guy. You work hard, and that's good. But Derek, he's got the mind for running things. I need you to support him. So I'm offering you something solid. Stable. A role that fits you." He slid a piece of paper across the desk. It was a job offer. Janitorial staff. For $12.50 an hour. At the company my own grandfather built from the ground up. I remember staring at it. At first I thought it was a joke. Like maybe he was hazing me or testing how bad I wanted to work there. But he was dead serious. I looked up. He smiled like he was doing me a favor. "Be grateful," he said. "A lot of kids your age don't even get that." I nodded slowly. Didn't say anything. Just folded the paper and walked out. I didn't mop a single floor. I didn't even look back at the building. I went straight home, packed my bag, and left for Columbus. I didn't talk to my dad for 5 years. I crashed with a friend for a few weeks, then took a job loading trucks at a shipping warehouse. I was angry, humiliated, but also laser-focused. I wanted to prove him wrong, not with words but with action. I kept my head down and worked harder than anyone else. I learned routes, vendors, operations. I started asking questions, real questions about how stuff moved, how systems connected. After a year, I got promoted. Then again. Eventually I met a guy named Jason who handled warehouse tech systems. Smart dude, good with numbers. We clicked. I told him I wanted to build something from scratch. He said he did too. We started with 2 used box trucks and an old office in a strip mall. We did regional deliveries at first, basic stuff, nothing flashy. But we were fast, reliable, and always showed up. Word spread. Within 3 years, we had 20 trucks and a growing team. Then Jason had an idea: expand into HVAC part distribution. It was niche but steady. And I knew all about it, because I had grown up around it. What I didn't say to him at the time was that my family's company, the one I had once mopped floors for, was still doing HVAC parts. And they were stuck in old systems, old ways, and an overpaid staff who hadn't adapted. So we moved in. Quietly. We offered better prices, better service, and flexible delivery windows. We didn't advertise. We didn't make noise. But we started taking their clients. One by one. I knew which ones would flip first. I knew which reps were unhappy. I remembered the vendors my dad always argued with. We picked them off with precision. By the time year 5 hit, we weren't just competition, we were dominant in 3 states. And the calls started. One vendor told me, "Hey, Derek reached out to us. He's trying to renegotiate. Looks like he's feeling the heat." I smiled but didn't say much. I hadn't spoken to Derek in years. We weren't close. He was always the favorite. Clean-cut MBA, played golf with the board members. He was the guy who wore cologne to Thanksgiving dinner. But now, his numbers were tanking. He didn't know why. I knew. Year 7, we made our biggest move. We acquired a small manufacturing plant in Indiana and started producing our own HVAC parts. Custom jobs. Just like the ones my dad's company was known for. That crushed them. It took another 2 years, but their reputation crumbled. We were everywhere. We had contracts they couldn't touch. And their staff started jumping ship. They laid off 40 workers in 1 quarter. I heard through a mutual contact that my dad blamed the economy and labor shortages. He never once looked in the mirror. They didn't know who we were. Not really. Our brand was separate, our names weren't on anything public. I kept it that way. Until the email. 2 months ago, I got an email from Derek's assistant. I hadn't heard from anyone in the family in nearly a decade. Subject line: Derek's retirement, you're invited. She wrote. Hi Kyle. Derek's retiring early, and we're throwing a celebration. He asked that I reach out. He'd really like you to come. It would mean a lot to the family. I stared at the screen for a long time. I didn't reply for 3 days. Then I wrote back. I'll be there. Now I need to tell you about what happened at that party. Because it wasn't just a celebration. It was the moment I told the truth about everything. And what happened after changed everything for good. The party was at some fancy banquet hall downtown in Toledo. Same city where I grew up. Same city I left without saying goodbye. I hadn't been back in years. I didn't even recognize parts of the downtown. But when I pulled up to that building and saw the valet sign, I knew what kind of night this was supposed to be. It wasn't just a retirement party. It was a goodbye parade for Derek, thrown by Derek, for people who still thought he was a winner. I stepped out of the rental car in a navy suit. Nothing flashy, but sharp enough. Clean shave, polished shoes. I wanted to look the part, but not scream wealth. People barely recognized me. Some squinted like they were trying to remember who I was. Others just nodded and went back to sipping champagne. Inside, the place looked expensive. Gold trim, tall flower centerpieces, servers in black uniforms carrying trays of wine and shrimp. Everything screamed legacy and image. Just like Derek liked it. I spotted him near the front of the hall, talking to a group of older men in suits. His wife, Allison, stood next to him. She looked like she hadn't aged a day, still perfectly done up, like a local news anchor. When Derek saw me, he paused. I could see it in his eyes, confusion, maybe a little guilt, or maybe just surprise that I actually showed. He came over, smiling. Kyle. Damn. I didn't think you'd come. Neither did I said, shaking his hand. His grip was weak. We've missed you, man, he said like nothing ever happened. You look good. I nodded. You too. We made small talk. He introduced me to people I hadn't seen since I was a teenager, guys who used to work for our dad, some old clients, a few extended relatives who acted like we were still close. Then I saw our father. He was in a wheelchair, near the corner of the room. He looked old, smaller somehow. His hands shook when he picked up his glass. He didn't say anything when he saw me. Just gave a small nod. That was it. No. Hello? No. How have you been? Just a nod. Derek eventually took the mic. The music stopped. Everyone turned toward the front. I moved closer, standing near a pillar. Thank you all for coming, he said, smiling like a politician. I've had an incredible run. From starting as a junior manager at my father's company to leading it these last 15 years, I've been blessed. He went on, thanking Allison, our dad, and all the dedicated employees who helped build the legacy. Then he said, but there's someone here tonight who I didn't expect. Someone who I think deserves a few words. And he looked at me. Kyle, would you come up here? Some people clapped. Most just looked confused. I hadn't planned to speak that early. I thought maybe I'd talk to Derek in private later. But the way he said it, like he was doing me a favor, lit something up inside me. I walked up slowly. Took the mic, looked around the room. And I started. Some of you know me. Some probably forgot I existed. That's fine. I was never the one meant to be seen. A few chuckles. I worked here summers. Cleaned the warehouse, loaded trucks. I thought I'd one day help run this company. Until one day, my dad sat me down and told me I wasn't cut out for it. I paused. The room got quiet. He said I should be a janitor. That I should be grateful. I turned toward Derek. He wasn't smiling anymore. I walked out that day. I didn't come back. I didn't ask for help. I didn't beg for approval. I built something from scratch. People shifted in their seats. My company, which most of you have never heard of, started with 2 trucks. Today, we're in 5 states. And 2 weeks ago, your board signed over 82% of this company's ownership. Gasps. That's right. I bought controlling interest. Quietly. Over 2 years. I turned and locked eyes with my dad. You remember that janitor job offer? I kept the paper. Still have it. I look at it every time I think I can't win. I looked at Derek. You didn't lose this company to some startup. You lost it to the kid you both left behind. The room was dead silent. Then, out of nowhere, Derek grabbed the mic from me. That's not true, he snapped. His voice shook. This is a joke. Some stunt. My lawyer's handling it. This isn't over. He was sweating. His wife looked like she wanted to disappear. I didn't say another word. I walked off the stage and out of the hall. The fallout hit faster than I expected. The next morning, I got 5 calls from old employees. Derek had stormed out after me. He was furious, cursing out staff, blaming everyone but himself. I didn't answer the calls. I was on a video call with the board, finalizing transition. That same day, I got a call I didn't expect. From Allison. She wanted to meet. Alone. I almost didn't meet with her. Part of me thought it was a trap. That maybe Derek wanted to humiliate me again, or twist the story to save face. But something about the way Allison's voice sounded on the phone, it wasn't fake. It was tired. Flat. Like she wasn't trying to impress anyone anymore. So I agreed. We met at a quiet diner on the edge of town. Not a fancy place. Just a booth, a pot of coffee, and old folks eating grilled cheese at noon. She walked in wearing jeans and a hoodie. No makeup, no jewelry. It took me a second to realize it was really her. She sat down and got straight to the point. I want to help you finish what you started. I stared at her. Why? Because Derek's not who you think he is, she said, stirring her coffee. And you're not the only one he's screwed over. She looked at me, dead serious. He's been lying to the board for years. Padding numbers. Moving money into fake accounts to make the company look stable. Your buyout only happened because he was too arrogant to see it coming. I leaned back. You knew about this? I started to. He kept things from me. But he's sloppy. I found documents, emails, phone records. That company's been bleeding money for longer than you think. And he's been stealing from it. I didn't say anything. She pulled out a flash drive and slid it across the table. I'm not doing this for revenge. I'm doing it because I'm leaving him. And I don't want my kids thinking their dad was a hero. I took the drive. Why now? I asked. She laughed bitterly. Because you humiliated him. And because deep down, I think you were always the one who should have had it. I didn't know what to say. She finished her coffee and left without another word. That night, I went through the files. She wasn't lying. Derek had funneled over $600,000 into fake consultant fees. He signed off on double-billed invoices and ran personal expenses. Vacations, golf trips, even his Tesla, through the company books. It was all there. I gave it to my legal team. The board turned on him fast. They had kept Derek in charge after the ownership transition to maintain stability for one final quarter. That was the deal. But once they saw the documents, they fired him immediately. No pension. No severance. Just a cold, formal letter of termination. The press got hold of it too. Some local business blogs ran headlines like, "Fallen CEO accused of financial misconduct," and "Family company rocked by internal coup." Derek tried to deny it at first. Said it was fake. Blamed me. Said it was a setup. But no one believed him. Even my dad didn't defend him. That's when another twist hit. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. From my father. It was handwritten. It said, "Kyle, you proved me wrong. You earned everything. I don't expect forgiveness. But I do want you to know what I said back then. About not being leadership material? It wasn't about you. It was about fear. I was afraid of what would happen if you were better than Derek. Turns out you were. Your mother would have been proud. Dad, I read it twice. Then I folded it up and put it in my desk drawer. I didn't call him. Not yet. The next board meeting was brutal. I sat at the head of the table in the same room I wasn't allowed into when I was 18. I looked at every face. Some looked embarrassed. Some just looked tired. I kept it short. No more fake numbers. No more politics. We do things right. We run this company lean and honest. You stay or you go. Nobody moved. I fired 3 people that week. But that wasn't the end. A few days later, I found out Derek wasn't done trying to save his name. He was talking to lawyers. Not about fighting the firing, but about starting a rival company. He wanted to build something small, underground. Rumor was, he was already meeting with one of my former managers. He wanted to take back what he lost. Or at least burn part of it down. And for the first time in years, I felt the old fire again. I wasn't just going to defend what I built. I was going to make sure Derek never got the chance to rise again. When I found out Derek was trying to start a rival company, I didn't panic. I just got focused. I knew how he operated. Derek never built anything on his own. He needed other people's money, other people's knowledge, other people's hard work. And this time, he didn't have our dad to cover for him, or the board to look the other way. But I didn't want to just beat him. I wanted to end the game. The first thing I did was figure out who was helping him. It didn't take long. One of my former managers, his name was Chris, had left 2 months earlier under friendly terms. We shook hands, wished each other luck. I even gave him a good reference. Turns out, Chris was now helping Derek plan his comeback. I confirmed it through a vendor who accidentally CC'd Chris and Derek on a logistics quote that was meant for me. That's when I stopped playing nice. I called a meeting with my top leadership team. I laid it all out. Derek was trying to poach vendors, old clients, and maybe even some of our IP. He was building something behind our backs, trying to take advantage of the same system he once ran into the ground. I told my team, "We don't just protect what we've built. We burn down anything they try to put up." I started with Chris. I didn't threaten him. I just made a call to his new landlord. Turns out, their office lease wasn't finalized yet. I made a counteroffer. Bought the space outright through a third-party shell company. They got a call the next day. Lease cancelled. Building sold. Next, I contacted every vendor we used, and the ones I knew Derek was approaching. I didn't threaten them either. I offered better. Locked-in rates. Extended contracts. Early payments. Partnership incentives. Most flipped back to me immediately. Derek was offering promises. I offered guarantees. Then came the final blow. Remember that flash drive Allison gave me? There was one more folder I hadn't gone through completely. It had emails between Derek and one of our suppliers, emails that proved he'd made off-the-books deals while still under contract with our company. That violated multiple state and federal business laws. My legal team filed a formal complaint. Then I did something unexpected. I went public. Not to embarrass him, this time it was about control. I released a press statement, clean and professional, confirming Derek was under investigation for fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. I didn't drag his name through the mud. I just told the truth. He panicked. His lawyers tried to make the problem disappear, but it was too late. The state opened a case. He was forced to testify under oath. And just like always, Derek tried to spin, shift blame, deny. But it didn't work. Turns out, he had been using investor money from a previous side project to try and fund this new company. That was fraud. Flat out. It ended with handcuffs. Not dramatic ones. No flashing lights. Just 2 agents showing up at his door with a warrant and walking him out in front of his neighbors. 6 months later, Derek was sentenced to 2 years of supervised federal probation and 6 months of house arrest. He lost everything: his house, his investors, his reputation. Allison filed for divorce the same month. She got full custody. His kids stopped talking to him. And the business world? Blacklisted him. Word got around fast. My father tried to reach out again. This time he called. He was in a nursing facility by then. His health had gone downhill fast after Derek's arrest. I visited once, not out of love, but out of closure. He looked frail. Eyes cloudy, voice rough. He said, "I always thought you'd be the one to take care of your brother. Not destroy him." I didn't flinch. I said, "I did both." He closed his eyes and didn't say another word. He passed away 2 months later. I didn't speak at his funeral. Neither did Derek. As for me, I didn't get away clean. The whole thing changed me. For a while, I was angry all the time. Paranoid. Obsessed with proving myself. I lost friends. I pushed away people who cared. I even nearly lost my relationship because I couldn't let go of the war I was fighting. But I came through it. Not perfect. Just aware. I rebuilt the company culture from the ground up. Paid out bonuses to every warehouse worker. Launched a scholarship fund in my grandfather's name, for blue-collar kids who wanted to learn business. I never forgot where I came from. Or who tried to keep me there. People still talk about what happened. Some call it family drama. Others say it was karma. But to me, it was simple. They said I was just a janitor. I became the man who cleaned house, for good.